Hi there. So if you've clicked on this video, then you're curious about this little tiny light. And what makes it so special compared to all the other little tiny lights out there that you can clip onto cameras? Well, I've got some interesting information for you. And if you have a DJI Action 4 or an Action 3, you're going to want to see this. So stay tuned because you're watching Blue Collar Guy. Okay, we're back. So what is so special about this little tiny light? Well, I'm going to go to the downward shot and I'm going to show you. So this is the Ulanzi LM18 light. And it has USB-C charging, which by the way works with fast charging and regular charging. It has this little rubber grip on it. And it also has this little tiny button up here. It does not do RGB lighting, so if you're wanting that, then you're not going to get it. Low, medium, and high. 3 settings, that's it. And it does remember your last setting. So it will remember the last setting. So if I put it on medium, for instance, and I shut it off, and then I turn it back on, it remembers that setting, which is also something that's very handy, and you might not learn that in another video, but you learned it here today. What else is special about it? Well, here's a DJI Action 4, and this is it. See how that just kind of grabbed onto that? Watch. It's a very strong magnet, by the way. If I go really close. So it clips onto the Action cameras, and you can use it as a light on the Action camera. So the cage that comes with your Action camera, which is right here, it'll use these proprietary clips. It can also clip onto the bottom of the Action camera like so. And that is kind of an interesting thing, because then if you wanted to do vertical TikTok videos, you can do vertical TikTok videos. So I'm going to bring in my other Action camera. This is the Action 3, just to demonstrate that it also works on the Action 3. And it'll clip onto there. Sorry, I'm just going to put the little rubber plug back in there. It's also waterproof. And if I wanted to do, let's say, a TikTok video, I don't do those, but other people do. So you would simply mount that like so. You would take the light and mount it where the bottom one goes. And there you go. And so that's the low setting. So I didn't mean to blind you a little bit there, but it is a fairly bright light for how big it is. What's the dimensions of it? Well, it is about 1.5 inches. Well, let me just shut it off here for a second so you can see. So it is 1.5 inches by 1 inch. Okay? Not very big, but pretty bright for its size. And when you put it on fast charging, and I will just demonstrate, there's a little red light, and that changes to green when it's fully charged. And it doesn't take too long to charge it. I'm going to go to the computer and I'm going to show you more about the light. So let me just queue up the computer, put myself in the corner. So this is the light here. This is how much it costs. You can get 20% off with a coupon. Just so you're aware, I am not sponsored. I did not get sent this for free. I paid for this with my own money. And here's more of a, it's got a 1-step quick release. The quick release is very solid too. It does not wiggle at all. There's no wiggle room like some of them. It also has an IPX5 water rating, so it is good for outdoor shoots. So I'm going to go back to me really fast, and we're going to talk about how this light could be used. So I'm just going to queue up me. Here we are. So how could this light be used? Well, as I've said before, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is not a waterproof camera, but the Action 4 and the Action 3 is. I think the Action 4 is a better camera if you're vlogging. And the reason why is if you have the Action 3, it breaks your videos up into chapters, which are like 4 to 6 or 8 minutes. But the Action 4 doesn't do that. When you press record and you stop recording, that's your file. And that's what I like. The other thing too is, you see this wireless DJI Mic 2 that I've got connected? Well, you can connect it to the Action 4, but you can't connect it to the Action 3. So if you're going to have a waterproof vlogging setup, this is the guy you're going to want to go with. So what you would do in a portable vlogging waterproof setup, and I'm just making sure that I'm clipped in there. There we go. So we're locked in. And then I'm going to put this little light on. And then I'm going to turn this little light on. And as you can see, if I turn it on the brightest setting, there's the brightest setting, you can see it's shining, it is lighting up my face. If I was to put this on an e-bike or a bicycle and be wanting to do a talking head shot maybe at nighttime, it may even help with your electronic image stabilization, because in the dark, that's when EIS fails to work. It stops working when the lights go down. So if you were to restore the lighting, chances are it's going to either bring that EIS back, or it's at least going to improve. It's not going to hurt. And at $20, how could you possibly go wrong? It's not a bad setup. Very compact, very small, more rugged than the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my DJI Osmo Pocket 3, but it is a more delicate camera. And you have to be more careful with it. It is a gimbal camera. Of course, you don't need to worry about, losing your stabilization at nighttime, but maybe with the addition of a light, you can fix that problem that way as well. If you only had to pick one camera and you lived in a place, London, England, or Canada, for instance, where I live, where the weather can be really crappy, this is going to be an all-around good outdoor vlogging setup. You'll have a wireless microphone, which has got 32-bit float. You're going to have a decent camera with decent image quality. And now you've got these little accessories like this little light. And even at that price, you could buy 2 of them. When one battery runs out, you've got the other one. The battery, by the way, it says here it'll run that light for 8 hours. I don't know what setting they tested that on, if it was low, medium, or high. Maybe if you have one of these lights, you can let me know in the comments. But I bought this with my own money, where I'll test this camera in low light just to see how well it works. Does it restore the image stabilization? Does it improve the picture quality? I can't see it hurting anything, and at the price, I think it's worth the gamble.
Hi there. So this is what the camera looks like at nighttime. So I took this at home, but I had to wait till the sun goes down because I get a lot of natural light. And this is what it looks like when you're filming with the light on. This would be in high beam mode. This would be in low mode. This would be in medium mode. And this would be again in high mode. Now I'm just going to see if the image stabilization is still functioning. So we'll move around a little bit and see if it how bouncy it is. I have the Rocksteady on, so this is what it would look like if with the Rocksteady on. Does the light provide enough light so that you can still have your image stabilization? And what would that look like? So if you're vlogging, this is what it would look like on that. There's all the other lights in my place are off. It's pretty much pitch black in here. So I'm going to shut the light off completely just to show you what that looks like, and we'll see how much the ISO will have to compensate. Right now the DJI Action 4 is on 4K 24 rock steady. So the light is off, and this is without the light, and as you can see, it is definitely a lot darker. So if you're vlogging at nighttime and it is dark, you are going to need this light. And I'm just activated it now. So yeah, it actually does something. So I don't know how much of the image stabilization it helps with. It's not going to provide a lot of image stabilization, if any, if the camera's facing the other direction. So if you're riding your bicycle and you're filming outward, I don't know if this light is going to provide enough for that. But when you're vlogging, you're holding the camera fairly close to your face, and this is the result you'll get from that. So not a totally scientific, a thing that I'm doing here, but it does give you an idea at least. Okay, so I tried. Anyways, we'll go back to the studio and give some thoughts.
Now, one thing I will let you know about this light is that you cannot use it with a gimbal. So if you didn't want to use it with a tripod setup and you wanted to use this with a gimbal, you can't do it. And the reason why is on some gimbals it requires you to take it out of the cage. And if you take it out of the cage, well, then you don't have the connector anymore. So on the Inky Falcon Plus, I can't get it to balance with the cage. It just can't handle it. And the added weight of the light would probably be too much for it. Now the Hohem iSteady Pro 4 has stronger motors, I believe, but unfortunately, even though it can hold the camera with the cage, the part where the light is would be facing in towards the gimbal. In other words, it's blocking it from using it. So this part has to go against where the motor is, and this is going to be blocking it. So you can't get it to wrap around the unit. It just won't work. It's not going to fit. And but I wasn't even able to test it. Now on the Vimble 2A by Feiyutech, it won't work in that situation either, because again you have to take the camera out of the cage in order to get it in there. So, and it also again has to fit up against the motor too. So it just doesn't work. And that's it. I hope this information helped you. If you're new to the channel, I have lots of videos where we talk about things that other channels don't. As a matter of fact, I specifically go on YouTube to see what other people are talking about, and then I try to find a unique perspective to talk about other things, so that you're not just watching the same stuff from a different voice or a different talking head over and over again. I want you to have original content. If that appeals to you, and it also appeals to you that I'm not sponsored, and it also appeals to you that I buy the things myself, then hit subscribe and hit the like notification if you found this video useful. So, take care, be safe at work, and I will see you at the next video.